Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're exploring a topic that many of us have encountered but may not fully understand. Why some people seem to secretly dislike us, often without any clear reason. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the icy glare of someone who just doesn't seem to want you there? It can be unsettling and confusing. These feelings can affect our self-esteem and even our social interactions. Understanding the underlying dynamics of these hidden animosities is crucial for improving our relationships and fostering a more positive environment. To kick things off, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I found myself in a group where one person in particular seemed to have it out for me. Despite my efforts to be friendly and inclusive, their coldness was palpable. It left me wondering what I had done to deserve such treatment. This experience sparked my desire to dig deeper into the psychology of these hidden dislikes, and I realized that many factors contribute to this phenomenon. So let's unravel the complexities of human emotions together and discover the reasons behind these secret feelings of hatred. Buckle up, because it's going to be an enlightening ride. Envy and jealousy are potent emotions that can deeply affect our relationships with others. To understand how these feelings manifest, let's break down what they actually mean. Envy arises when we want something that someone else has, whether it be their success, their looks, or their relationships. Jealousy, on the other hand, often involves a fear of losing something we already possess, like a friend or a partner. These emotions can lead to a twisted perception of others, where we start to view them as obstacles rather than companions. Picture this. You're at work, and a colleague receives a promotion that you felt you deserved. Instead of celebrating their success, you find yourself feeling bitter and resentful. This resentment can lead to a cycle where you start to distance yourself from that colleague, even subconsciously treating them with hostility. Over time, that bitterness can fester, creating a toxic atmosphere. Envy can distort our views and make us believe that the person we envy is somehow responsible for our unhappiness. We might even start spreading negative comments about them to justify our feelings, further deepening the divide. It's crucial to recognize that these feelings are often rooted in our own insecurities and unmet desires. The next time you find yourself feeling envious, take a moment to reflect on why that is. Are you unhappy with your own life circumstances? Are you projecting your feelings onto someone else? Understanding this can help dismantle the jealousy and allow for healthier, more constructive interactions. Remember, it's natural to feel these emotions from time to time, but acknowledging them is the first step toward overcoming them and fostering a more positive relationship with those around us. Communication is a vital cornerstone of any relationship, yet it is often where misunderstandings begin. Imagine a scenario where you casually comment on a colleague's presentation, saying something like, "You could have added more data to support your argument." To you, it's just constructive feedback, but to them, it feels like a personal attack. This simple misinterpretation can lead to feelings of resentment and animosity, where they start to view you as someone who undermines their efforts. It's crucial to remember that our words can carry different weights and meanings depending on the listener's perspective. Miscommunication often arises from assumptions. We assume others know our intentions, but in reality, they may only hear the surface of our words. This is especially true in a workplace setting, where stress and deadlines can cloud judgment. Let's consider another example. Two friends planning a trip together. One friend might think the other is taking charge and not allowing for shared decision-making. However, the dominant friend may believe they are just being organized. A lack of clarity in communication can lead to feelings of exclusion, and before you know it, a rift forms over something that might have been resolved with a simple conversation. To illustrate further, think about social media interactions. It's easy to misinterpret the tone of a message when we can't see facial expressions or hear vocal inflections. A straightforward comment online can be read as sarcastic or dismissive, leading to conflict that might not have occurred in a face-to-face conversation. These are just a few examples of how misunderstandings can germinate into deeper feelings of dislike. So, how do we combat these misunderstandings? First, it's essential to approach conversations with openness. If you feel slighted or confused by someone's words, consider asking for clarification instead of jumping to conclusions. Phrasing like, "I want to make sure I understood you correctly," can facilitate more constructive dialogue. Additionally, practicing active listening, truly focusing on what the other person is saying without preparing your response in advance, can significantly improve communication and help dispel any misunderstandings before they escalate into resentment. In conclusion, misunderstandings often act as the invisible wedge that drives people apart. By fostering an environment of clear communication and active listening, we can minimize these misunderstandings and promote healthier relationships. Remember, it's not just about what you say, it's about how your words are interpreted. Taking the time to ensure clarity and understanding can prevent a lot of unnecessary conflict and hidden animosities. Let's strive to be better communicators and create a more understanding world around us. Understanding the fundamental differences in values and beliefs can be a critical aspect of why some people may harbor negative feelings toward you. When individuals come from different backgrounds or hold contrasting beliefs, it can create a divide that leads to resentment. For example, let's consider a hypothetical scenario involving two friends, Alex and Jamie. Alex is passionate about environmental issues and deeply believes in sustainable living, while Jamie, on the other hand, is more focused on economic growth and sees environmental regulations as a hindrance to progress. One day, during a casual conversation about a local policy aimed at reducing plastic use, Alex passionately expresses their views on the importance of protecting the environment. Jamie, feeling cornered and misunderstood, responds defensively, arguing that such policies could hurt businesses and job growth. This conversation escalates, and what began as a simple discussion turns into a heated argument, leaving both friends feeling frustrated and distant. The underlying issue here is not just a disagreement over a policy, but a clash of values that shapes their perspectives. When people feel that their core beliefs are challenged or disrespected, it can lead to feelings of animosity. It's essential to recognize that these differences can be deeply personal and tied to one's identity, making it even more challenging to navigate. Understanding that people come from diverse backgrounds and experiences can help foster empathy and open-mindedness, essential elements for resolving conflicts and building healthier relationships. Recognizing and appreciating these differences is crucial for finding common ground and mitigating the risk of hidden animosities. Let's take a moment to consider how rumors and gossip can create a toxic social environment. Picture this. You're working in an office, and one day, a casual conversation takes a turn. Perhaps someone overhears a snippet of a chat about a project you're working on. They misinterpret what was said, and feeling compelled to share, they tell a colleague that you're trying to undermine the team's efforts. This seemingly innocent conversation spirals, and suddenly, it's common knowledge around the office that you're not a team player. The next time you walk into the break room, you notice people whispering and casting sideways glances your way. You can feel the tension in the air, and it's all based on a misunderstanding that has grown out of control. This is the power of gossip. It thrives on half-truths and speculation, often leading to unwarranted animosity. People are quick to believe the worst about you, especially when they lack the full context of a situation. In many cases, these rumors are rooted not in factual evidence, but in jealousy or a desire to elevate oneself by bringing others down. The emotional toll of being the subject of gossip can be immense, leaving you isolated and questioning your relationships. It's vital to recognize that when rumors start to swirl, they can distort perceptions and alter dynamics, not just for you but for those around you as well. They can create divisions, foster resentment, and ultimately lead to a toxic atmosphere where everyone is on edge, unsure of whom they can trust. So how do we combat this? First, it's essential to communicate openly. If you hear something that doesn't sit right with you, address it directly with the person involved. Clear the air and clarify misunderstandings before they escalate. Additionally, try to cultivate a culture of support and trust within your circle, whether at work or in your personal life. Remember, the more we encourage honest and open dialogue, the less power rumors will have to harm us or others. The impact of rumors can be profound, but with proactive communication, we can mitigate their effects and foster a more positive environment. In this segment, we're going to delve into the complex interplay of personal insecurities and projection. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone seems to take an unreasonable dislike to you? Often, this can be traced back to their own insecurities. When individuals are grappling with feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, they may project these negative feelings onto others. Let's break this down further. Imagine a workplace scenario where two colleagues, Sarah and Tom, are vying for the same promotion. Sarah is confident in her abilities and has a track record of success, while Tom struggles with feelings of self-worth and believes he's not as competent as his peers. Instead of viewing Sarah as a potential ally or a source of inspiration, Tom starts to harbor resentment towards her. He begins to see her achievements as a threat rather than something to aspire to. This projection can manifest in various ways. Tom might start making subtle jabs at Sarah's work, questioning her decisions in meetings, or even gossiping about her behind her back. This behavior often stems from his own feelings of inadequacy, as he's unable to reconcile Sarah's success with his own perceived failures. Instead of addressing his feelings directly, he deflects them onto Sarah, creating an atmosphere of animosity. Moreover, this dynamic isn't limited to the workplace. Think about friendships or even family relationships where one person feels overshadowed by another's accomplishments. For instance, in a family where one sibling excels academically, the other might feel pressured and inadequate, leading to jealousy and resentment. They might start to criticize their siblings' achievements or withdraw from the relationship altogether, rather than confronting their feelings of envy. Understanding this phenomenon is crucial. When we recognize that someone's negative feelings towards us may be rooted in their insecurities, it helps us respond with empathy. Instead of taking their hostility personally, we can acknowledge that their actions may be more about them than about us. It opens up the possibility for healthier dialogue and understanding. So, if you ever find yourself facing animosity from someone, take a moment to reflect. Could their behavior be a projection of their own struggles? This awareness can not only help us navigate relationships better, but also foster compassion towards those who may be battling their own insecurities. By approaching these situations with empathy, we can create a more supportive environment for everyone involved. Let's delve into the critical role that empathy plays in our relationships. Lack of empathy can be a significant contributor to feelings of animosity and resentment. When we fail to understand or acknowledge the perspectives of others, we often misinterpret their actions and intentions. For instance, consider a situation where a colleague at work is struggling with their performance. If we view their struggle through an egocentric lens, we might assume they are incompetent or lazy, rather than recognizing that they could be facing personal challenges. This misjudgment can lead to a lack of support and even open disdain. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to forget that everyone has their own battles, and this lack of awareness can create a rift in relationships. If we focus solely on our feelings and fail to consider the feelings of others, we perpetuate a cycle of misunderstanding. Imagine a scenario where two friends have a disagreement. One friend feels hurt because the other didn't invite them to a gathering. Instead of reaching out to understand why they weren't included, the overlooked friend may harbor resentment, thinking their friend doesn't value their friendship. Meanwhile, the friend who organized the gathering might have simply forgotten to extend the invitation or thought the other friend was busy. This lack of empathy leads to assumptions that can poison the friendship. This phenomenon isn't limited to friendships. It can happen in families, workplaces, and communities. Egocentrism can create a barrier that prevents us from seeing the other person's perspective. To combat this, we must actively practice empathy. We can do this by asking questions, listening to understand rather than to respond, and being open to seeing things from the other person's point of view. By fostering empathy, we not only improve our relationships, but also cultivate a more supportive and understanding environment. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to connect on a deeper level, and a little empathy can go a long way in dissolving animosity and building stronger bonds. Let's delve into the complex world of sibling rivalry and competition, a scenario that many of us can relate to. Sibling relationships are often marked by a blend of love, loyalty, and unfortunately rivalry. From a young age, siblings are pitted against each other in various aspects of life, be it academics, sports, or even parental affection. This competition can begin innocently enough, with healthy encouragement to excel. However, when one sibling begins to consistently outshine the other, it can lead to resentment and jealousy. Consider the story of two brothers, Alex and Ben, who grew up in the same household. Both were talented in their own rights. Alex excelled in academics while Ben was a star athlete. Initially, their parents celebrated both of their achievements, fostering an environment of support. But as they entered high school, the pressure mounted. Alex received a scholarship to a prestigious university, while Ben struggled to find his footing in sports and academics. This disparity created a rift between them. Instead of celebrating each other's successes, Ben began to resent Alex, feeling overshadowed and inadequate. As their rivalry deepened, Ben started to undermine Alex, spreading rumors about his academic dishonesty, which further strained their relationship. This toxic competition didn't just affect their bond, it permeated their family dynamics, creating tension during family gatherings and even leading to confrontations that left lasting scars. The key takeaway from their story is that competition, if not managed properly, can lead to a breakdown of trust and affection. Rather than motivating each other to improve, it can turn into a battleground of insecurities and accusations. It's essential to recognize that while competition can drive us to achieve great things, it can also foster feelings of hatred and resentment if we allow it to overshadow the love and support that should exist between siblings. By fostering open communication and celebrating each other's strengths, we can transform rivalry into a supportive partnership that uplifts rather than diminishes. In essence, competition and rivalry, particularly among siblings, can escalate into serious issues if not approached with care and empathy. It's crucial to be aware of these dynamics and strive for understanding and support in our relationships. As we near the end of our exploration, let's take a moment to summarize the key elements we've discussed regarding why some people secretly harbor negative feelings towards others. We've touched on the role of envy and jealousy, which can distort relationships and create a breeding ground for resentment. We've also examined how misunderstandings can arise from ineffective communication, leading to animosities that can linger without resolution. Furthermore, we explored the impact of differing values and beliefs, recognizing how conflicting worldviews can create significant divides between individuals. It's not uncommon for people to feel threatened or judged based on their personal beliefs, and this can lead to a cycle of resentment that is hard to break. Additionally, we highlighted the influence of rumors and gossip, which can poison relationships and create an atmosphere of distrust. Personal insecurities play a crucial role as well. Individuals often project their own fears and failures onto others, causing unnecessary conflict. The lack of empathy we discussed is another significant factor. When people fail to see things from another's perspective, it leads to a breakdown in understanding and connection. Lastly, we addressed how competition, while often healthy, can morph into rivalry that escalates into deeper issues, such as sibling rivalry or workplace tensions. These elements are interconnected, forming a complex web that significantly impacts our emotional well-being. The hidden animosities we've discussed can take a considerable emotional toll. Whether it's the stress of walking on eggshells around someone who dislikes you, or the anxiety of navigating social situations filled with unspoken tension, the effects can be profound. Recognizing these dynamics is the first step towards healing and fostering more positive interactions in our lives. Understanding why someone may feel negatively towards us allows us to approach the situation with empathy and a desire for resolution, rather than defensiveness or hostility. Now that we've explored the various factors that contribute to secret animosities, it's crucial to discuss how you can recognize and address these dynamics in your own life. First, take a moment for self-reflection. Ask yourself, have there been instances where you felt someone was treating you differently? Understanding your own feelings and experiences can provide clarity. Look for signs of envy or resentment in your interactions. Do certain conversations feel tense or awkward? Pay attention to body language, as it often reveals unspoken emotions. Next, foster open communication. If you sense there's tension with someone, consider addressing it directly but tactfully. Approach the conversation with a mindset of curiosity, not accusation. Use I statements to express how you feel without placing blame. For example, instead of saying, "You never include me in plans," you might say, "I feel left out when I hear about events after they happen." This approach encourages dialogue rather than defensiveness. Another practical tip is to practice empathy. Try to understand the other person's perspective. Maybe they are facing challenges you're unaware of. By showing compassion, you can bridge gaps and reduce animosities. Remember, everyone has their struggles. Acknowledging this can transform the way you relate to others. Additionally, set boundaries where necessary. If you find that certain relationships consistently drain your energy or negatively affect your self-esteem, it might be time to reassess their importance in your life. Healthy relationships should uplift and support you, not bring you down. Lastly, encourage positivity. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and foster healthy competition. Celebrate others' achievements rather than viewing them through the lens of rivalry. This can create a more supportive environment where animosities have less space to grow. In summary, recognizing and addressing hidden animosities involves self-awareness, open communication, empathy, setting boundaries, and promoting positivity. By implementing these strategies, you can cultivate healthier, more fulfilling relationships in your life. As we wrap up today's discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on the key points we've explored regarding the hidden reasons behind why some people may secretly harbor negative feelings towards us. We've uncovered how envy, misunderstandings, personal insecurities, and the lack of empathy can create rifts in our relationships. It's essential to recognize that these feelings often stem from complex emotional landscapes, rather than any personal failings on our part. By understanding these dynamics, we can begin to navigate our interactions with greater awareness and empathy. I encourage you to consider how these insights might apply to your own relationships. Are there instances where you felt a disconnect with someone, and could these underlying reasons be at play? Recognizing these factors not only helps us address any negativity in our lives, but also empowers us to foster healthier, more meaningful connections with others. Remember, every relationship is a two-way street, and our understanding can pave the way for compassion and resolution.